Welcome to AI Dungeon. I have no idea what to say. I have no preamble planned. I have basically nothing in mind. Other than clearly I've got myself set up for Harry Potter. Just because that is what was on my mind for whatever reason. So, let's get started. Alright. I am not going to be doing Harry Potter exactly. As is traditional, I know almost nothing about Harry Potter or the intellectual property. I'm not going to be able to take it through like the actual events, and I'm certainly not going to be streaming for long enough to cover 7 movies, or 7 books, however you want to look at it. Although, there was like a comedian who did a basically stand-up gig that managed to cover like all 7 books in 90 minutes. He had practice. This is improv. I'm not going to be able to pull that off. Let's see what else I forget today. CSS has been finagled. I am not on mute. That's correct. I have my pop filter running. Everything should be good. BGM is working. Yes. Okay. Let's do it. You are a young lad in Middle America. Yeah. You live at home with, you were orphaned at a young age and you were orphaned as a baby and live at home with foster parents. Your foster parents hate you and treat you like garbage. They force you to sleep under the stairs in a tiny closet. In contrast, they love and dote on their biological son. All you can do is do chores and homework until your fingers fall off. Your foster parents are named Rita and Clarence. Also living in their house is their biological son David and an adopted daughter Heather. Every day is a new thing to hate about your life. You don't even have any belongings or toys of your own. If you do anything wrong, you get the belt or the broomstick. Today is much like any other. You come home from your menial job and you come home from your menial job. David is sitting on the couch, playing Halo, and Heather is having her nails done by a nailtrician. Rita and Clarence have left a note for you with a list of chores. Dear Tim, I guess my name is Tim. The note says, you've been assigned the following chores: feed the pigs, change the cat litter, tidy the house, and water the plants. David, Heather, and I have gone to visit my sister. You've done a good job and helped us out a lot. Love, Mom. You can feel the sarcasm dripping from every word. You look over at David and Heather. Rita says you were going to visit your aunt? Yeah, Heather says, still fingering her nails from her manicure. How come I wasn't invited? You say angrily. Because you're a fuckboy bitch boy, David says, killing you instantly in Halo. You look on the screen and see that, as usual, he's filled the game with bots, all of which have your name, and all of which are set to be as stupid as possible. David giggles. I hate you, you say, and go feed the pigs. Heather also gasps in annoyance, but I'm not really sure why. You walk outside of the pig pen, and as usual, the pigs are wallowing in their own filth. You throw down some food and get to work. Heather leans out the window as you muck out the pig pen. All my friends called today, she says smugly, and told me how much they think you're dumb and not worth talking to. They told me they all have a birthday tomorrow, and you're not invited to any parties, ever. You grunt in annoyance and continue cleaning. Hopefully the pigs will trample you to death. Well, are you just going to stand there like an idiot, or are you going to actually do your chores? Rita yells. She and Clarence pull into the driveway. Fuck! I'm doing them right now, you protest, pointing at the pig pen. And you, Clarence says, looking over at David, turn off that game and go outside. It's a nice day. Enjoy it. But I don't want to, he whines. Do it anyway, Rita says. Now, Clarence says, butting in. He's our darling angel son. Of course, he can play Halo all day if he wants to. He's going to be a famous Halo player someday. I hear you can win big prizes if you play in the big esports tournaments. That's you, Clarence. You're an E-star in the making. I knew you cared, Dad. I love you. Mama, did you hear that? Dada loves me. The first thing you do once your stupid siblings are out of the way is gather up a bunch of rocks. For some reason, tidying up the house always involves carrying a bunch of rocks from one side of the garden to the other. This is never explained. You wonder if it's feng shui or just boot camp. No, it's going to get confused if I say boot camp. It's going to start thinking I'm actually in boot camp. Who knows? After you've done that, you get to work on the remainder of your chores. It's all pretty easy and mindless, so you find yourself daydreaming about winning a Halo tournament. You dream about being lifted up in the air as cheering voices scream your name. Tim, Tim, Tim. Tim time. The voices cheer. You daydream about lifting up the prize cup, being adored by countless fans, and suddenly realize you're floating in the air. What the heck? You look around and find Rita's looking at you, her hand on your back floating a few inches above the ground. It's pretty obvious she's the one who levitated you. Okay, let's go back on that. You look down and let out a terrified scream. You're slowly lifting up in the air. Somehow, by the power of your mind, you are floating. No wonder people at school think you're special. You can't believe it. After a few seconds, you slowly float back down to Earth. Mom! Heather yells. Tim's breaking the rules of physics. Am not, you protest. But Rita is already marching outside, looking pissed. What's going on out here? She asks. Tim defied science, Heather says dramatically. Tim, did you kick a rock into the air or something? Rita says, looking questioningly at you. Questioningly at you. You begin. Wait. No, I didn't. I swear I didn't kick any rocks. You protest, which is true. But it's not going to save you. That's not... Heather sticks her tongue out at you. That's not what you said, she says. You said, oh no, the Lyme disease. I've got the Lyme disease in me. Get Daddy to give me the cold shower treatments. Heather runs inside, leaving you outside with Rita. You both opt not to think about what she said too hard and focus instead on the immediate problem. Rita punishes you for levitating by dragging you inside and making you turn on the cold shower for an hour. Afterwards, you head outside to mow the lawn with a bad hangover. You also learn that Clarence is even angrier than before, likely due to the fact that he hasn't had nearly enough sleep. By the end of it all, you hate your family. You daydream again, this time about something wildly improbable, like being rescued by a pro gaming team that drives up a pimped out van. They don't work for free, of course, and after striking a deal with your parents, convince you to live with them and fondly call you Balor. You laugh as you imagine their names and faces. With a start, you realize there's a pimped out van in the driveway. Clarence catches sight of it and turns pale for some reason. He drags you into the house, throws you into your tiny cupboard under the stairs, and locks the door. They're not taking you today, my boy, he growls. Dad? What is it? You ask fearfully. You hear two people walk out of the van. It's too muffled to hear what they're saying. There's a thud outside. That might be someone kicking the door. You realize there's something under your pillow. You look and see that it's a letter. You open it up and read it. To my dearest son, if you're reading this, it means I've passed from this life to the afterlife. I regret that we'll never see each other again, but I still wish you the best in American show business. It's time you learned the truth. You're a wizard, Tim. And as a wizard, you've been invited to join the Wizard Students College at Pigzits University. You start laughing, for this is a silly trick by your dad. Why would he go through all the effort of making fake letters and going to the trouble of opening locked cigar boxes? It begins to dawn on you that it's all true. You're a wizard. You try to kick open the cupboard door. Someone outside hears you and unlatches a door, swinging it open to reveal a strange person. Couldn't just open door, could you? She says. Do you see yourself as some kind of superhero now that you know the truth? Think again. You're not super at all. You've only got what dear old dad gave you, and that's a lesser amount of magical talent than even your mom. Who the hell are you? You say, astonished at this stranger who seems to know everything about you. What's that Mega Man theme for? Whatever. I'm a friend of the family, and your dad hired me to pick you up from here and teach you the ways of the Force. So come on, we're going back to my ship and set course for Daganowid's town. You crawl out of the cupboard and look around. Your family, your foster family, is huddled against the side of the room, terrified by the presence of the second stranger. The second stranger looks like he's got a haze around him. Inside the haze... Okay, no. We are not doing a lightsaber. We're not making this... Maybe we are. I don't know. Interesting. Okay. The second stranger looks like a stormtrooper, but taller and with a deeper voice. He extends a hand towards you. No, cries Rita. He's not going anywhere with you. I'll call the police. The stormtrooper-like man shrugs. Suit yourself, but he's certainly coming with me. You look between the two strangers. Am I really a wizard? You ask them hopefully. Ha ha! Says a stormtrooper man. Stormtrooper-like man. Of course you are. I'm just going to hit enter and let it extend that a little bit. No, he isn't, says Rita. He's just a kid. Let's go, the man says, before this woman changes her mind. He turns and walks to his van. The stormtrooper beckons you over, but you hesitate. You remember that you're not supposed to get into vans with strangers. What's your name? You ask the two stormtroopers. What's your names? Let's do that. No. Let's try that again. The man's name is... Yeah, I'm really going to have to get it away from Star Wars. It's angling hard. All right. Man's name is unknown, and her name is also unknown. Oh, this is good. Well, part of this is good. The man's name is Stanley, and the lady next to him is Oprah. Now that you know their names, they are no longer strangers. You climb into the van. The pimped out van. They drive off down the streets. The man's name is Stanley. The lady next to him is Oprah. Soon you're on your way to the Wizard College. Well, actually, your first stop is at Burger King, so you can buy some breakfast. Soon enough, you find yourself sitting in a hut on a barren planet. What's the deal with this hut on a barren planet? You ask aloud. We need to see if you have the potential to become a wizard, explains Oprah. All acolytes do this on a barren planet. You know, you are wise for someone who has seen 13 summers, says the stormtrooper. You are confused once again. You attempt to prove your potential by levitating pocket change. No, you know what? We've done the levitation thing. Let's do something else. By turning pocket change into pigs. The lady nods in satisfaction. Soon you are heading off to the Wizard's College. There are 2 paths up the mountain. Whatever you do, don't take the left path, says the stormtrooper sternly. It's a wizard eater. What's on the right path? You ask Stanley, the wizard stormtrooper. Nothing, but at least you don't get eaten. You're presented with 3 doors. Okay, no, you know what? This was fun. That part was fine, and then the rest of it kind of looped back in on itself. So let's try it again. After some thought, you do decide to take the right path. It's certainly true that there's nothing on the right path. It is also true that you do not get eaten by a wizard eater, so your stormtrooper friends are certainly reliable witnesses. What should I expect from my first year at Pigzits University? You ask your 2 wizard chaperones. Dunno, the stormtrooper answers. You should expect to learn a lot, says the lady. Well, they certainly gave you a good idea about the lay of the land. You shake your head wearily and attempt to cast a spell that gets you a straight answer to your question. The spell fails. Apparently these 2 are so intent on being mysterious, your spell doesn't quite cut it. Unable to take their riddles anymore, you give in and decide to head back down the mountain to question the gatekeeper some more. You go down and head up the left path. Maybe the Wizard Eater can tell you what to expect. It's a beautiful day in the mountains. You've almost forgotten about the mysterious gatekeeper and the strange stormtroopers. We didn't even meet a gatekeeper. I guess we're about to. There's a nip in the air, but the cloaked figure seems comfortable enough. Most wizards are comfortable in all weather, it would seem. The cloaked figure is a gatekeeper, as well as a wizard eater. You ask him how he deals with that. Magic, he says simply. I use magic to defeat the magic of others. Is that what I'm going to learn at Pigzits University? You ask. Kind of hit it a few times, make sure it remembers. Oh, of course not. What you are going to learn isn't magic at all, it's logic. Do you know the difference between the 2? No. You aren't sure where this line of questioning is going, so you just tell the truth. This is bullshit. I was promised a magic university. Okay. Refresh that because I want more dialogue. Of course you don't. Nobody does. That's the point. The gatekeeper begins to laugh. It's a shrill, grating sound like chalk on a blackboard, or fingernails on a chalkboard. It's enough to put you off your question. Can I go now? You ask the gatekeeper. I'll allow it, he says, an evil glint in his eye. You turn around and head upwards, out of the valley, and back towards civilization. You don't look back for fear of changing your mind, because you don't want to see the Wizard Eater's horrible face again. The stormtroopers suddenly catch up to you, dropping out of the sky on magic parachutes. "Where were you?" they ask. You tell them that you met the Wizard Eater, and they gasp in horror. "He did what?" they shout. One storms off while the other takes you to see the Emperor immediately. You were led through a set of enormous golden doors and into the throne room. Emperor Ford stands with his back to you, staring out a window overlooking the courtyard where you first arrived. You recognize him immediately. Emperor? The headmaster of this school, of this magical school, is Harrison Ford? You say in shock. That's Emperor, Headmaster, Ford, to you, he snaps back. No, I'm not doing a Harrison Ford impression. I don't even know what that would sound like. Apparently, he's a bit of a diva. Sorry, you reply. He turns around to face you. He's much smaller than you expected, only coming up to your chest. It turns out he's been filming all his movies while standing on a stepladder. The more you know. That's Emperor. No, that's just Sean Connery. The Emperor's face is pitted and wrinkled like old leather. His eyes are gray and cold. Sup, Lawful? And there's a general sadness about him. You don't know much about him, but you can tell just by looking at him that he's been through a lot. You tell him, I'm a wizard, you say proudly. Or I'm going to be a wizard. I'm going to enroll as a wizard student. The Emperor stares at you with a look of faint disgust on his face. He turns to one of the stormtroopers. What? Another one? Yes, sir, the trooper says. He came up the mountain and I remember seeing him. Did you say he said he's a wizard? Yes, sir, the stormtrooper says. The Emperor shakes his head sadly. He's too old. He's probably too dangerous. This has got to stop. Isn't this literally a school for magic students to learn wizardry? You ask him. My school has been debased by the government, he says angrily. They see it as a way to get cheap labor. The Emperor turns to you with a sigh. Tell me, boy, do you have any magical abilities at all? Should you tell him about your telekinetic powers? Yes, I have some magic in me. At least 3 magic. But I can't control it very well. That's because you don't have a wand or a lightsaber. Those are the only 2 things that help a wizard cast spells. Without magic, you're just an ordinary kid. You look at the Emperor with his gray hair and tired eyes. The toll of keeping this school open must be great. That's why I need to learn about wizardry, so I can help my country. You finish your thoughts. The Emperor looks at you in surprise. He nods his head. I think you just may. You look behind the Emperor and notice a large black chair with silver trim sitting empty. Where's the Chancellor? You ask. He wanted to observe your experiment, the Emperor says. The Emperor tells you that you are officially admitted into the school. You are now a first-year wizard student at Pigzits University. Hooray! You're first. But before you can start classes, you'll have to get wizarding supplies. There's only one place to get wizarding supplies. The Wizard Mart. Fortunately, it's just across the street. Unfortunately, you still have to walk there. The Emperor and the stormtroopers lead you out of campus past the gate and towards the city. The farther away from campus you get, the shabbier humans seem to look. They're all mutants, robots, and demons. They look at you and some of them whisper, "Psst, hey, kid." A woman with yellow teeth appears from an alley. "You want a crummy job? I can get you a crummy job that pays really well." You don't want to hire him for a crummy job. Stanley the Stormtrooper says, passing the hand in front of the woman's face with a wizarding gesture. Rico, don't listen to this. The fuck is Rico? The woman looks like she's been slapped in the face. I didn't, she says, walking past you. I'm gonna get the Emperor out of there. Stanley. Wait, No, it was a big guy, wasn't it, who got him his wand? It wasn't the headmaster himself, right? Fuck, it's been a while. You know what? Let's just let it stand. Emperor Harrison Ford leads you past these mutants and the remaining buildings towards the city center. The first thing you need is a wizarding tool. Emperor Ford lectures you. It's going to be a wand or a lightsaber, though nothing beats a blaster at your hip. You pass a group of large buildings with many floors. These are apartment buildings, the Emperor explains. They're where most of the students live. Then we have the school. You and the Emperor walk past over a dozen school buildings that are around 3 stories tall. Now that you've seen them, we're going to talk about that wizarding tool. You and your retinue enter Wizard Mart. Behind the counter is a strange figure. Non-human, with 4 eyes, wearing a button-up shirt and tie. "Hello, and welcome to Wizard Mart. How can I help you today?" The Emperor approaches the counter and stares at the clerk. The clerk stares back at him. Then the Emperor points at you. "Hello, sir," you say to the four-eyed clerk. I would like to buy a wizarding tool, please." "Wait." You turn back to look at the stormtroopers. "I don't have any money. How am I going to pay for it?" The stormtroopers just stare back at you, unmoved. You turn back to the counter, and it's empty. "I'll pay you back," you say weakly. "Don't worry about it," the Emperor says as he takes you by the hand. "Wizarding tools are gifts." "Oh, thank goodness. You don't have to pay." You look around for the clerk, and then ring the bell on the counter, hoping that he'll come back. Soon enough, the four-eyed clerk with a black goatee appears from the back and walks up to you. "Where'd you go?" you ask. He glances over at the Emperor, who shrugs, as if to say he doesn't know anything about this either. "I was lost. ... May I have a wizarding tool, please?" you ask the clerk. "A wand or a lightsaber? Damn, remembered. Your selection is over there." The clerk blandly points over at the side of the store, where dozens of lightsabers and even more wands are on display. "If you need assistance, I'll be here." With that, he goes into the back room again. The other wizard stormtrooper, Oprah, walks you over to the display. Now, it's not as simple as just picking out a tool. She lectures you. You don't choose the tool. The tool chooses you. You have to, in order to understand what wizarding tool is right for you, you must ... Okay, that's boring. I want a verb. I want a verb. Close, but you must pass the test. You must take the test. The test, you know what? Make it the trial. The trial involves... There, this should give better results. The trial involves picking a tool and seeing if it comes to you or not. What does that mean, coming to you? Oprah reaches for a wand. Wands are the simplest tools. All you have to do is wave it and say a spell like this. The wand grows ahead and bites Oprah's hand off. She tucks her bleeding stump back into her stormtrooper robes with a shrug. That's what I mean. Oh. You grab one wand after another, waving them around and saying a bunch of nonsensical words. Some of the wands shoot sparks or flames, others teleport you across the room, or make giant skulls sprout out of the floor and menace you. By the end of it, you're exhausted. You spot a very unusual lightsaber in the back and pick it up. What's the deal with this one? You ask. Okay, give me something better. The Emperor smiles tightly. Ah, yes, I was waiting for you to find that one. That one's not for you. Why not? Because that one's mine. Darth Revan appears behind the counter, waving at you and grinning. You recognize the gatekeeper. Darth Revan. But it's on sale, you point out. Pretty sure that's KOTOR, but whatever. It's got a try me button. Oh, trust me, kid, you don't want that one. Is it damaged? Darth Revan grabs you by the shoulder and looks you straight in the eye. Boy, that lightsaber is evil. Don't listen to him. You look at the lightsaber. It just spoke to you. That's pretty cool. What's your name? You ask the lightsaber. Medin. Like the war god, you ask? The lightsaber remains silent. You're confused, kid, the Emperor says. And I might be. I don't know what Medin it's from. Are you evil? You ask Medin. The lightsaber. Or is he having a go at me? Or she. You can be male or female in that game. Define evil. Well, that's a good question. What is evil? Do you hunger for other lives? Do Jedi weapons hunger for other lives? You can't... okay. You know what? Let's get rid of all this. Because I don't want it to go too far down that rabbit hole. Okay, enough of that horse shit. Darth Revan cuts in. I've told you, it's evil. And that means it's evil. You don't want it. Unless you do. He adds and wiggles his eyebrows. The Emperor slaps him around the head. Don't corrupt the boy. Stop hitting on me in front of the boy. You're ruining his innocence. He's going to catch feelings. You have an interesting family. The Emperor begins to get angry. You ignored the lovers' quarrel between Emperor, Headmaster, Harrison Ford, and Darth Revan, the Wizard Eater, and focus on Medea, the lightsaber. I guess I'll take you, you say to Medea, and light her up, waving the plasma blade around in a shower of sparks, of magic sparks. Now that you've chosen, I can tell you why that lightsaber is so special. I'm sorry, what did you say your name was? The Emperor interrupts. You've already told me yours, my lord, you reply respectfully. You're the Emperor. No, dumbass. Your name. The clerk raises 4 eyebrows. If you're Tim, he says, that means that was your father's wand. And that means you're Darth Revan's son. What? The Emperor snaps. That's right, Darth Dad. The clerk leans in close to you and hisses. You look over at Darth Revan, but he's vanished in a puff of eggs. Guess you're one too, then. This changes everything. The Emperor narrows his eyes and looks at you carefully. How much do you know about him? The Emperor and the stormtroopers go around the aisles of Wizard Marts, gathering wizarding supplies, such as spell components, invisibility potions, and robes of different colors. You wonder what he's doing until you remember... Okay, if you remember that you don't have a wizarding tool, not even a broom, you'll have to get one of those if you want to attend Quidneck Wizard College like your friends. You mentioned this to the stormtroopers, and they shrug. You're not going to Quidneck. Your wizard grade isn't high enough. You're stuck here at Pigzits University. Got a problem with it? Oprah says. Nope, you say, terrified of these hulking balls of armor. Oprah snorts and opens a package containing a broom, which he, okay, that's fine, tosses to you. Write your name on the package and come with us. You leave the store, pushing a shopping cart of wizarding supplies, and toss it all into the pimped up van. They drive to the dorm. Before we get you a room, we have to figure out which school of wizardry you belong in. There are 4 schools. Illusion, necromancy, creation, and conjury. Okay. There are 4 schools. Shit. That'll work. Airy-cool, Luna-cool, Satan wizardry, and Dumbledoring. Which one are you? You say, unsure of your answer. Luna-cool? Wrong! Luckily, we don't have to ask you. We know the answer. We're just going to do a little ceremony to find it out. The ceremony, they push you into the center of a room and throw back the curtains to reveal hundreds of students all staring at you expectantly. Tell all of them your secrets, they whisper and close the curtains. Then the interrogation begins. Okay. Oprah stands on a table in front of you to address the crowd. This is what a real wizard looks like, he says, grabbing your nutsack through your pants and giving it a friendly squeeze. Stranger danger, you yelp. I need an adult. Nobody's gonna help you, son, Darth smiles. Nobody. Darth stands up and slaps his meaty hand on the desk, startling everyone. This is my son, Darth Revan announces. That means he has evil in him. And great potential. I'm going to be watching him with keen interest and come back to kill him repeatedly. Any questions? There's a murmur of fear-racked confusion. Do you hate this guy? You do now. What's going to happen to me, you ask? You're going to kill little kids in an attempt to get good grades, Darth answers. Oh, well, that sucks. Not necessarily, interrupts Emperor Ford. It depends on which school you get into. Now, answer this question truthfully, or take the dare. Do you find this funny? No, you say with a frown. We try that. Do you find my being a better wizard than you a challenge? You're surprised at the number of people who raise their hands. Yeah, let's face it, Ford says, his deep voice somehow making it sound calm. Nobody's as good a wizard as me. Nobody in the damn world. Well, I could be a good wizard, you say defensively. I just have to graduate. Will you now? The Emperor smiles devilishly. Yes. Prove it. If you want to go to Quidneck, the most difficult wizard school of them all, you need to prove yourself against my challenges. His hand shoots out and grabs your tie, lowering your face to his. To prove my power, I've just changed the name of this school. From Pigzits University to Quidneck. All hail Quidneck! He yells. The people in the room look around for a moment before clapping politely. Truth, dare, or physical challenge? He orders you. What's in my pockets? Oh, that's simple. You're a wizard. You don't have any pockets. He smiles and reaches into his robes. He pulls out a handful of snow and slowly shapes it into a snowball. The temperature in the room drops noticeably. Frost starts to appear on your tables and your hair. That's cheating, you say. Nuh-uh, he retorts. I'm a wizard. That means... Nobody can touch me. The entire room is starting to freeze over as he starts lobbing ice chunks at you. How do you feel about ponies? He asks, a malicious grin on his face. You better not fucking say you hate them, Emperor Ford says. You better not hate anything. This is the greatest moment of your life. You're already finding it hard to breathe without a shirt on. The room has gotten so cold. Why the fuck did you take off your shirt? Kinda like them, you say. Don't fuck with me, Ken, Ford says, smashing a beer bottle over your head and shattering it to pieces. Give me an apple. You attempt to use your magic. Use magic to summon an apple, lighting your new lightsaber and waving it in a complicated pattern. Instead, you hit yourself in the face with the edge of the blade. Fuck, you say, passing out. Wake up, Ken, wake up! Emperor Ford is yelling into your ear. Your heart is beating quickly and your eyes blink open. You're still on stage. The test is not over yet. I've changed your name from Tim to Ken, Emperor Ford announces. How do you feel about that? Everyone in the building is watching you right now. I like it, you say nervously. Truth, dare, or other? Other? You want to do a truth, a dare, or a rohypnol? Truth, you say. Give me truth, or give me death. Haha, that's my boy. Emperor Ford smiles. Do you have a boyfriend? That was the last time you saw him. A moment later, a sinister figure steps up behind Emperor Ford and stabs him in the back with a knife. The Emperor falls to the ground, the light leaving his eyes. You can't quite hear what he's saying, but he's definitely shouting at the assailant. It's over as quickly as it began, and now the staff at the Quidneck Island Resort are swarming in. Moment of truth, Stanley tells you. This will decide what school you go into. Answer this question truthfully and without shenanigans. What do you think of Ancapistan? The fuck is that? Okay, that must be like a country for anarchist capitalists? I am not a part of that world, and I have no desire to Google it, but what do you think of Ancapistan? I hate it. Rebellious, Professor Reed says. He'll be a perfect fit for the Chaos Classroom then. You are now a part of the school, of the Chaos School, named... No. Not you are named, but Chaos. Now you'll be compatible with the rest of the class. I thought there were only 4 schools. You protest. That's chaos for you. He laughs. Now let's get you to the Chaos Storm. For the third and indeed final time, you were given new color-coded school uniforms and introduced to your new classmates. One, a wiry boy with curly black hair, sits by himself at a table. Another lies slumped in his chair and just whispers random numbers to himself. These 2 boys are going to become your best friends. You introduce yourself to them and learn their names are... Ant and Sam, also Sam, not Big Sam. Over the next few years, the 3 of you will be increasingly drawn to one another as you go through the arduous task of becoming a magician megamaster. It's not an easy life, but at least you've got good company. That sorting ceremony was fucked up, you say to Ant and Sam, also Sam. You're telling me, Ant says. Now they put me into Chaos School. I don't even know how I got here. What'd you go in for, also Sam? You ask. He looks up at the ceiling, then spits some random numbers. I'm a mathemagician, he announces. Want me to divide something? Please? Fuck's sake, Ant says, wandering off to find someone to bother. I think I saw 2 girls together over there, mate. You tell also Sam. Why don't you go join them? He smiles and wanders off. The next day is your first class. You'll be learning about... lasers. Light amplification by stimulated emission of radiation. It's an important subject that all magicians must learn, as the use of laser weapons was actually the decisive factor in the Allied victory over the Nationalists. Still, it's rather dull, and you spend most of class asleep. Mr... the hell did I get named? Ken, I think? Mr. Ken! A sharp voice snaps you out of your reverie as a laser ruler slaps down on the desk. You look up at the stern face of the teacher. Miss Tentacle. Okay, what is the speed of light, Mr. Ken? She demands. 670,790,000 feet per second? You guess wildly. How interesting that you should know, she says frostily, tapping the ruler on her desk. Darth Revan knew that, and he was evil. I wonder, does that mean you will be evil as well? I will be watching you with great interest, Mr. Ken. Miss Tentacle sneers. You sit up and pay attention for the rest of the class before continuing on to your next lesson, Using Windows. Hello and welcome to another installment of Using Windows. I'm your host, Bill Gates. A tired-looking man appears on screen. You learn how to use Windows. But halfway through, are distracted by your new best friend, Sam, also Sam, who is hacking into the mainframe and rewriting all the code. I'm gonna make the screen display the text, "I hate also Sam, forever, you know," he tells you. Cool. Dot, dot, dot. Cool, cool, you say before closing your eyes and drifting off to sleep. You awake to Sam tugging at your sleeve. "Hey, there's somebody talking outside." You gasp in astonishment and run to the windows. Looking out on the courtyard, you see a short-robed figure walking up to the entrance. "It's the wizard," Aunt says in awe. The wizard is a strange little creature, only 3 feet tall, with tiny wings like a dragonfly and a glittering golden robe. So what? We're all wizards, dumbass. You don't get it, Aunt says. We're just wizards. That's the wizard, the one true wizard, of which all others are but shadows. Anyone who gets that reference gets a cookie. The wizard runs a hand through his snow-white beard and smiles at all of you. "Hello there," he greets you warmly. "I am the wizard." "But that's impossible," Kathleen says in shock. The wizard waves a hand and transforms Kathleen into a beautiful brunette. "Not impossible," he says, nodding. "I'm Sam, sir." Also Sam says, stammering. The wizard winks at him. "I know. And I'm," you try to say. "Nobody cares," the wizard announces. "So, I have a small test for you to see if you're capable of the power I'll be teaching you. Follow me." You follow after the wizard as he strolls towards the nearest tower. "My word, you've made the place a bit of a mess," he says disapprovingly. The mess is the worst near the middle of the room, where rats as big as foxes are gnawing on bones. The wizard conjures a bone sword and begins to stir the air around him, casting its spell. You stare at the rats, imagining them being painfully exploded to death, also known as explodeaths. "What will you be teaching me?" you ask the wizard. "Me? Nothing. There are only 2 wizards at any given time, and there's already one of me running around. The previous wizard, Increase, has moved on to greater things. That's why we've called you lot here. You've been selected to become the next wizard's apprentices. But we have to do this in secret. There's a dark force brewing in the world, known only as Atropos. We don't know how powerful they are, or exactly what their plans are, but if they discover us, then we're doomed. Also, Reveal gets drunk and blabs secrets to boondinger prostitutes. You follow him for about 5 minutes before reaching a small wooden door. We'll practice in secret in this messy tower, behind this small wooden door. This is a room that only appears in times of great need. It's called the Room of Need. Come on in. He opens the door and you take a look inside. "Whoa," Aunt says, running forward with Sam. "This is so cool." I've read about this in books, Lewis says, joining you. Me too, Ant exclaims. This is where the very first wizards learned their crafts. You look in surprise at Lewis. Lewis is a bully who has been mocking you for not being Let's find out. Lewis, what's your deal? Masculine enough for years. And yet, here he is, saying something that could be taken as referencing X-Men? What the fuck is this shit? Mason asks. This isn't a fucking room, it's a bunch of bricks stacked together. The wizard looks over the growing crowd. Fuck me, he says. Everyone gets in here. Well, whatever. I'll teach you all. I'm going to show you the forbidden spell. The forbidden spell, you say nervously. Is it dangerous? The wizard strokes his beard, a smile playing across his lips. I guess it is. Is there any way I can learn the spell but not have to use it? The wizard sighs. Yes, you can ban yourself from learning it. You pause. May, Gwendolyn, and Kyle all step back slowly. Are you out of your bloody minds? Mason says to them. We get to learn a secret spell. Mason is a very large man, built like a brick shithouse. He got in by threatening to cast Fist on anyone who objected. His favorite food is Grandma's chocolate cake. He loves watching dogfights and MMA. He hates haunts, ghosts, and anything spooky. You can't really tell what Lucas's deal is. You ignore all these assholes and focus on the wizard. What is the name of the forbidden spell? It's called... it's got a fancy French name I can't pronounce, but it translates to something like Dead Man's Hand. I'll learn it, you say, piecing together the clues. Give me the knowledge of this spell. You learn a new spell. Dead Man's Hand is a forbidden spell. The effects are most sinister. Sinister. It lets you bring organic matter back to life. You are absolutely forbidden from using it. However, you've learned other spells that will allow you to bypass technical legality. You're sure that if anyone noticed a corpse rise up and walk away, they'd be none the wiser that you were responsible. You all practice Dead Man's Hand by killing rats and bringing them back to life. Were they like necro rats or something? What was that? By killing rats as big as foxes. It's actually fascinating to see the brain activity next to non-existent in a dead rat. You seem to be able to will the creature to move by sheer force of will, with minimal efforts. Once you've all practiced Dead Man's Hand, the wizard kicks you all out of the room of need and seals the door with a rotary lock. You are now ready to fulfill your contract. And by that, you mean attend school. The next day, there are no classes, other than broom riding. You have to learn how to fly on a broom and participate in the school tournament, a sport known as witch hurling. The professor seems to favor a school known as Empire, and you find the fact that they put people in uniforms and have them throw enchanted broomsticks at each other slightly ridiculous. I thought we were going to ride flying broomsticks. You say, what? No, that's fucking stupid. We just enchant them to fly on their own and throw them at people we don't like. That seems counterproductive. Don't you need them to fly? And also, why not just throw regular brooms? They work fine on the ground. Because I'm a fucking wizard. That's why. Shut up and wind up your arm. The captain of the team is currently shouting at you. You cash your checks and send the broomstick flying towards a blonde girl with pigtails. You stand in the capable hands of the captain of the team, looking out at all the new hopefuls. The captain has already explained that you're a transfer student from the Empire Academy starting today. You tell them this isn't true, but nobody listens. Welcome to witch hurling, they say. Your captain there is a glory hound. Pfft, figures. The rules of witch hurling are as follows. There's one witch darting back and forth about 20 feet above the field. The object of the game is to throw a broomstick so that it hits the witch and knocks her off the broom. If you hit her hard enough, if you knock a witch off her broom, you get 10 points and become the new witch. The match lasts until there's no witch left. Let me get this straight, you say. We all just stand here and throw a broom at a girl flying on a broom? You catch on quick, the captain smirks, winding up her arm to throw. You all throw brooms at each other wildly. Several wizards get the bright idea to light their brooms on fire, first causing extra damage on impact. A few brooms land in the spectator stands, causing a bunch of screaming and panicking and general chaos. You knock a couple of people off their brooms, including the captain. After about an hour, it's just you and another girl left. The girl's name is Catalina. She comes from a rich merchant family. She is, in fact, the captain's love interest. You, by no means, have feelings for her. You're just trying to stay alive in this crazy world. There's a way to win 100 points all at once. The captain yells from the sidelines. You have to touch a witch on her rise back. You know what? I'm just going to retry that. For one, that's not crazy, and for another, okay. You have to throw her fiancé. Only he's a traitor and will most likely defect once he's thrown. What? He's a fucking human paper towel, you yell. His name is Tyrael. Don't you pay attention in class? He used to be in the Nightshade Regiment. Well, where the hell do we find Tyrael? He's usually at the Rogue and Vagabond, that tavern by the river. She doesn't have to tell you twice. You grab your broom and take off, Catalina close behind. You fly to the Rogue and Vagabonds and kick in the door, looking around for Tyrell, the traitor. You see him apprehensively sipping a drink at the bar. It's not hard to find. He stands out like a sore thumb with all the drunk socialites and hooligans. Hey, you're that transfer student, a sleazy guy with an eye patch says as you come in. Which Hurling? You tell him, and hock your broom directly at Tyrell. Your aim is straight, but Tyreen sidesteps at the last second. The broom hits the bartender, who goes down. Ah, my back! Mr. Didier! Oh my god, are you okay? The barmaid says as she rushes over to help him. You retrieve your broom with a flick of your wrist. But it's too late. Tyrell retaliates by sweeping Catalina off her feet and out the door with his mighty throwing arm. You follow them out, broom in hand, but the second you exit the tavern, you get hit with a thick stream of some nasty fluid. The smell isn't recognizable at first, it's just so horrible. It's Coca-Cola. You've been covered in shitty, nasty soda. You run as fast as you can, but Tyrell and Catalina have already boarded a ferry bound for Ramet. You are alone, and no one will associate with you until after you graduate. A lot of people win the witch hurling that year. You get back to the dorm and take a long shower to scrub off the high fructose corn syrup. Ant and Sam tell you that while you were away, someone heard there was a troll living in the girls' bathroom at the school and went in to fight it. May he rest in peace. So there's still a troll in the girls' bathroom? Does that mean we can go into the girls' bathroom to fight the troll and see all the secrets the girls hide in the girls' bathroom? Yeah, Ant, you sigh, just wanting to sleep after such an eventful and long day. Hell yeah, troll killing! Ant says as they walk down the hallway towards the bathroom. Not me, I'm old. Sam begs off. He leaves you and Ant to enter the girls' bathroom. It's a forbidden place, a place of dark secrets and ancient rivalries. Inside you see just one girl, the same one from the first day you arrived here, with the purple hair just below her ears. Hey, Ant. How'd you know it was us, Ant asks. Like you guessed, the girl says, looking at you. Who's this? Yeah, nobody cares. I guess you're here about the troll, she says. Well, there's a troll in here, Ant admits. By the way, I'm Ant. Yeah, I figured that out, dipshit, she says. The name's Lynn. You look over and see that the troll is not just the troll, but a A bunch of patchwork trolls from the Gaper attack 3 years ago. They aren't all packed in the bathroom and are scattered about the room. Lynn seems to be half-heartedly aiming for their legs, since each shot knocks a leg out from under them. Doesn't look like you're trying. You attempt to cast a spell known as Trollus Spuus, which results in repelled peanuts shooting from your mouth and onto the floor. The trolls, all not noticing Ant or you, begin stepping on the peanuts and slipping all over the place. Really? She stops. She says, stopping in mid-air attentive to squint at you. Who are you? You tell her your name. I'm Ken, you say. Will you marry me? Sure. Right after I get rid of these trolls. No, in 2 weeks. I don't want to wait any longer. Ken, you don't even know me, Lynn says. Though if you get rid of these trolls for me, we've got a deal. Gee, it sure would be weird. Funny if I married you in 2 weeks instead. Ant laughs. Right out from under Ken's nose. Boy, that would be something. Do you accept? You ask, hand held out for her to shake. Sure, Lynn shrugs. As soon as these trolls are dead. You nod, thinking hard. Hey, Ant, turn around, you say. Ant turns around, and you shoot him. Oh, no. Ant turns around, you activate your lightsaber, and cut his head off. He rolls on the floor with his head in his hands. You feel a rush of adrenaline and happiness you haven't felt since, well, the first time you killed someone. Ha ha! I knew you were bluffing, Ant says. Well, I better get going. Ant rolls his head away from the girl's bathroom. You proudly announce your victory over Ant, and therefore are ahead in the game where you want to marry Lynn. However, you still need to defeat the troll army. So, do I have to do anything? You ask Lynn. No, I think you've done plenty, she says. The trolls slowly approach you. You realize you can't use your lightsaber because they're too close together to prevent them from falling over. The trolls have assembled into a half troll, half corpse abomination after years of being tidied up by the janitors. Their hides are as hard as steel and as ugly as sin. The pupils of their eyes deep purple. Each eye is about the size of a basketball and positioned on either side of the creature's mouth. These aren't trolls, these are basilisks from Dark Souls. Look out, Lynn warns. Their breath will turn you to stone. You begin to run back and forth, quickly dodging the troll's charge. Its bulky size forces it to move slowly, but its long tongue shoots out at blinding speeds, reaching you in an instant. It's glowing. Poisonous green saliva lands on your cheek and you don't turn to stone. The troll looks at you in astonishment. Are you Darth Revan's son? It asks. No. Then we must kill you. You probably should have lied. They charged, their bulk is hitting you like a train as it propels them forwards. It takes all your willpower to maintain your defense. You do a sweet kickflip and throw cotton candy everywhere, soaking up the water on the floor and turning it all into a goopy mess. Unfortunately, you lost your lightsaber when the first troll knocked into you. You rush to retrieve it, but you slip and land right next to it as the trolls continue to charge. Come on, call Daddy's credit card, there's no time! You urge your force field. You activate your force field at the last second and watch as the trolls are all charged with felony manslaughter. Unfortunately, you get charged with this as well. The judge tears a photo of his family in half and sentences you to death in the Arctic Mines of Scent Division, where there are no suns to charge your force fields. That lasts about a day before you come back to, what was it called? Like Gene Quick Marts? What the hell did they rename the school to? God damn. It's been a while. Quidneck University. You used the Dead Man's Hand spell to resurrect 700 wolves and rode them back to the university. Unfortunately, this is a forbidden spell, and you're in big trouble. Emperor Ford summons you to his office and demands an explanation. You used a forbidden dark magic spell, he says, but you disagree. Very well, he says. 50 points to Chaos School. You give him the finger and are sent to Flutterbind Prison on Drollvog 4. Okay, it's losing the plot, but let's try it again. You're all very confused. This tentacle protests. He should be drawn and quartered with magic. She yells. Yes, Emperor Ford agrees. Says, by the time you realize he's agreeing, it's too late, and you've been transported to a medieval town, guilty of witchcraft. A crowd of angry peasants quickly assembles. An old woman steps up and lights the end of a rope that binds your hands. You're confused about why she's burning the rope, but take the opportunity to snap the rope and slip free. You snatch up your lightsaber and cast Village Catapultus. Flinging the entire town 300 meters. This puts everyone to sleep, except those standing too close to the edge, who are flung out of the town entirely. You turn your attention to retrieving your robe before Emperor Ford remembers where you are and what you're doing. You spot a door with a sign that says Psychic Library. You enter the Psychic Library and look around. Darth Revan is there with a hideous monster. The monster looks like a cross between a monkey, a spider, and an octopus. Its tentacles has its mouth-like orifices on the end and are bright red with huge circular jaws filled with teeth. It appears to have multiple brains that push and pull the creature's body, allowing it to doacate. Okay. Ah, here you are, Darth Revan hisses. Just as I predicted. I'm here to steal a magical artifact known as the Tomes of the Dead. They contain the information and powers of some of the greatest necromancers from history. I need them to revive Malik. Why aren't you dead, you ask? I don't know, he admits. My destiny was to die in a spaceship that gets taken over by pirates, killed in action, and have my body incinerated when the final bomb blows up my vessel. It fails sometimes, but rarely. So you're also from the future. How's this going to play out, you ask? You won't take the tomes, he says. You'll agree to help me. You have to. You see, this mission changes everything. There are 2 possible timelines. In one, you succeed, and the history of the galaxy is... He trails off mid-sentence and looks around nervously. Aha! He just admitted there are multiple timelines. That means there's a timeline in which you don't agree to help him. I'm going to take the tomes. You say, I'm tired of all my friends being in danger because of me. I won't ever ask for help, even when it's blindingly obvious I need it, and others are there to help me, and I've had this same moral dilemma like 6 times in a row. I agree, that does sound rather annoying, he says. The tomes are in a glass case that's magically locked. You wave your hand and the lock falls off. You remove the books and pocket them. I really shouldn't have let you do that, Darth Revan frets. But that's all right. I have my monster. Monster, eat this stupid kid of mine. The tentacle beast surges forward. I'd like to see you try, Alpha Alert. All right, let's retry that. Part 21. Time to pay the bill. You grab at your lightsaber, which you always keep on your belt, but you're just out of reach. The beast's mouth opens with a terrifying roar. You leap forward, grabbing onto the hope, holding up the chandelier and swinging forward. Are girls watching? You ask Darth Revan. I bet this is going to look really beautiful. The chandelier smashes against the tentacles, knocking the beast against the wall. Yes! Yes! You hear the crowd cheer. You run forward before the chandelier falls onto the floor and shatters into 100 pieces. You break out of the psychic library and return to Quidneck. This time, Emperor Ford awards you 100 points for your wrongdoing. Nobody can figure out how he keeps score. Darth Revan remains behind. Okay. Darth Revan remains behind to organize the rebellion. The wizard community is so broken after you took the tomes that it won't take much for him to take control and replace the head magician, Mavis, who's been fired. You discover his sinister plan when the new employee, who is obviously evil, arrives. The new teacher's name is Palpatine, and he teaches dark magic. Palpatine will obviously take control of all the students who become a Sith Lord, and with your help, destroy the Jedi. Revan knows you'll never agree to this, which is why he never tells you. Palpatine... During Palpatine's first class, he calls you up to the front of the class. Everyone, I want you to take a good look at Mr. Ken. Mr. Ken is a nobody who will never amount to anything, and nobody likes him. He's going to fail with negative all the points, Palpatine announces. I agree, you say. Please stop bullying me. Silence, Mr. Ken. Now, everyone, laugh at him. The class obeys the evil teacher and begins to laugh, all except one boy who isn't laughing and smiles at you sympathetically. Palpatine swooshes over to the boy and drags him up to his feet by an ear. So you think you're too good to laugh at Mr. Ken? Is that it? Palpatine sneers. I sentence you to... two weeks of detention, starting today. Please don't do that, Mr. Pal. I was going to say that's pretty funny. Though. The boy cries bravely against dark magic choking his throat. Then he finds the courage to finish. Mr. Palpatine? Fine, sneers Palpatine, flinging him back into his seat. Then he swooshes back over to you. You think you're better than me, huh? I don't, you begin to stutter. Silence, yells Palpatine. Into the bathroom, Mr. Ken. I'm not going. Do it, and you go to 4 weeks of detention. You fold your arms in protest, but go to the bathroom. Inside, you discover it's a trap. The bathroom is full of monsters, the worst of which is a giant spider. You scream and back out of the bathroom. You go to 6 weeks of detention, Mr. Ken, says Palpatine, amused. He calls the class over and everyone goes back to laughing at you. You go to your room. You write a diary entry about how life is unfair and show it to Aunt and Sam, and also Lynn, who is hanging out here for some reason. Sam's 11-year-old brother Tom also stops by. He grabs your diary and reads it out loud. Everyone laughs at you, and Lynn leaves. Why do you still hang out with losers like them? Tom demands. You could hang out with me instead. Because they're students, and you're just a young child played by Will Wheaton. You tell Tom. I could give you a wedgie as soon as I got you into 8th grade, Tom tells you. I'm pretty strong, he boasts. I doubt that, you say. Yeah, I am, he says, showing you his bare stomach. Let's see you do that. Tom leaves to make it into 8th grade. You mope around and say to Aunt, what am I going to do about Palpatine? As long as Palpatine is teaching the class, no one's going to learn any magic. They'll only learn how to bully me. Why don't you call the principal? I tried. What happened? She said they take a zero-tolerance policy on bullying, and if I gave them to her, she'd take the matter to the teachers' union. Then what happened? I gave her the diary. Oh, great, groans Aunt. Can you hand it back to me? I'm scared. Wow, this is weird. Scared of what, you ask? I don't know. Maybe it's my stupid brother telling me I'll get in trouble if I keep it. You hand Aunt your diary with reluctance. You knew this was a bad idea. The next day, Palpatine produces your diary in front of the class with a shit-eating grin. He reads it to the class and hands it back to you, laughing. Okay, and then the rest of that is weird. Let's try that again. He's now armed both with your diary and Aunt's collection of erotic macaroni arts. I don't get it, Tom whines. What's the big deal? Mr. Ken, says Palpatine. Can you describe for us the feelings you get when looking at macaroni? Sexy macaroni? You can feel your face reddening and you mumble, I don't know. So you don't get sexually aroused looking at macaroni? No. Mr. Ken? Palpatine sneers ominously. Do you know the punishment for lying under oath? No. Then why would you feel the need to lie when asked if you get sexually excited by my display of erotic macaroni art? He demands. Tom starts crying. You hate bullies. I'm sorry, Mr. Ken, says Palpatine. You'll have to go to double detention. No fair, Aunt complains. He's only lying about the bit about not getting sexually aroused. It's not about that, you say. Double detention, then, growls Palpatine. Double detention is an excruciating experience. You are put in a room and told to look through a book with a small little light on the page you're on. One book is opened and closed on the desk in front of you. The book is, what is a book? Just tell me what the book is. A very large, heavy tome by the looks of it, with dull brown leather binding. Can't lift the damn thing even if you wanted to. The cover has been worn, the pages are dog-eared, you're certain you don't even have enough education to figure out the title from the contents. It's nuclear algebra. And Palpatine has ordered you to learn it cover to cover before you'll be released from the room. Even one page is so complicated, your brain twists into a pretzel. Nuclear algebra involves multi-layered concepts. A single word on one page can have its own footnote with half a page of text. Worse, the language is as dry and technical as anything you've ever seen. You've had to suffer through atoms for 3 years. This isn't what school should be about. You turn 360 degrees and walk to the wall, where you find the room of need and enter. Inside, you see Tom rubbing his eyes at the desk. What happened to you? He asks. It's a long story, you say, sitting in one of the chairs and cradling your head in your hands. This sucks. You know what we should do? You say. We should all skip school and go have our own school and teach each other forbidden magic. That way we can fight back against Darth Revan and Palpatine without all their dirty teacher tricks. You and Tom look at each other with fire in your eyes. The pair of you walk out into the courtyard, where preparations for battle are being made. Anakin and Ant are shirtless, but otherwise fully armored in high boots and plated armor, which covers them from shoulder to wrist and from hip to knee. The fuck are you doing? You ask them. Where did you even get that? Anakin, fuck. We'll just ignore that. We picked it off some dead royal guardsmen, Ant answers. All the best swords, lightsabers, are being made for Jedi Knights and above. We're not allowed the real nice stuff, though. You drop it and go recruit the best students you know. After polling the audience, you decide the best place to clandestinely conduct magic lessons is a secluded area of the woods. It's a place called the Pools of Vision. It's named after an area fabled to grant visions to those wise enough to dip in their waters. It's deep in the woods and far away from prying eyes. And it's in walking distance of a combination Pizza Hut and Taco Bell. Perfect. What are we doing here? Ant asks, throwing down his bag of burgers and fries. I thought we were having a lesson. You take a deep breath. We are. You gather all the students and convince them to go for a swim in the Pools of Vision. Tom takes off his underwear. Sarah strips down to her underwear while Aunt moon-eyes her. Meanwhile, you're struggling to find the words. Magic is you begin, before a large goblin wolf crawls up from a drain in the pavement and bites your ankle. Fuck! Goblin wolf! You cry out in anguish. Sam quickly casts an ice bolt, freezing the creature in place as you jab your sword into its exposed throat. Blood stains the surrounding pavement and you limp away from the scene of the crime. What were you saying? Sam asks. I don't care anymore. You sigh. Just swim in the stupid pool of stupid vision. Oh shit. My energy's going down. It's been a while since I saw that. You dip a toe in. It's freezing cold and you shudder, but dip in up to your shoulders. Through your heavy breathing, you manage to gaze upon the water. The cloudy surface of the water begins to twist and turn into something more solid, until you see the images within. What do you see? Tom asks. I see your face! Ant giggles, clutching at a rock with one hand while he holds his nose with another. I see us winning, Tom says, grinning. But you see something very different. You see your death. The death of the Republic. You see armies of undead marching upon a pile of burning corpses, with a single figure controlling the Mara. Something about the entire image seems oddly familiar, like something buried deep in your forgotten past. There's not time to think about that. You take the images back to your class. There's going to be a war. You tell them. An invisible war. Where wizard eaters eat wizards and nobody knows about it. Despite being fairly inebriated, your students manage to get the point across. The rest of your lesson is fairly depressing as you all consider what this future really holds for you. Then again, you thought you'd be ruling alone rather than teaching children to do so. You keep the knowledge of your death to yourself. It turns out you're going to face Darth Revan in a wizard duel. and Darth Revan is going to win. Instead of being a beacon of peace and life, you're going to be conquering polities in your master's name, and instead of being a short time later, the time is imprecise. It could be tomorrow, it could be years away. You just know that you're going to die at his hands. You decide to get it over with and take your broom to see Darth Revan. Sure enough, someone comes to kill you the next morning. Fearful and without breakfast, you stand before him in his office, waiting for the killing blow. Darth Revan is not alone. He has his protege, his star pupil. It's none other than Lynn. She's betrayed you all. Your ex-girlfriend? Okay. You saved her from a pit of vipers. Well done. How could she? You look into her eyes and you see nothing but a cold, soulless blackness that makes your very core shudder in pain. She doesn't flinch. She doesn't blink. There's no remorse. You were her friend as she stabbed you in the back. How could you? You cry out, "You have dyed hair!" With that, she runs you through with a lightsaber. You stagger back. You can feel your life leaving you, but you know something she doesn't. You know the dead man's hands. You cast it upon yourself and defeat death, rising up as an ageless lich. Fire burns all mortal bonds. You blast Lynn with a beam of negative energy. Then, as if nothing happens, you step past her, ignoring her dying gasps. You approach your former master and punch him, releasing him from the bonds of mortality. He falls aside, a desiccated corpse. "Hey, asshole!" You hear from behind you, and turn to see Lich Lynn. "I was there too, remember? We both know dead man's hands. Now we're both undead wizards." You know she's right. With a faint sigh, you approach her and begin the duel to end all duels. In the years following the battle, the Republic of Independent Holars is transformed into the Empire of Independent Holars, a nation that endures to this day. You would be comforted to know that. You'd also be comforted to know that Sam isn't getting... No, it was Ant, wasn't it? Isn't going to steal your waifu after all. But in this moment, all you know is one of you must be defeated, and you'd rather it be her. "Take this," you order her, and cast a spell to freeze all snakes in a 10-mile radius. "No!" cries Lynn. The snakes freeze in place, hypnotized by your magic, and then shatter like crystal as the magic discharges through them. Then you turn to Lynn and swing at her. The first strike cuts off her head. She punts her head directly into your face, headbutting you, before picking it up and putting a chain around the neck, swinging her head like a flail. Thwack! Your neck severs. But it doesn't kill you. You end up stumbling around, flailing your headless body around in circles. Eventually, you snake your head back to where it goes. You laugh hideously. Is that the best you can do? Stop talking! Then you both realize something is wrong and look down. You're on the wrong bodies. Your head is on Lynn's body, and Lynn's head is on your body. What a predicament! Hey, you shout. Get your heads together. I can't think of any reason why we'd end up on each other. You're about to try to think of any possible explanation when your body simply stops moving. You both put your heads together to try and figure this out. It seems like your bodies are running out of magic. You'll have to work together if you want to survive this. You feel a drain as your body is funneling all its energy into your mind. You can't think straight. Maybe you can let Lynn temporarily take over. You know soul magic. Maybe that's the key. Lynn, let's try something. What? Let's swap bodies. For real. We'll do the magic. You begin to swap souls. In the greatest of ironies, Aunt dies in Lynn's body. Mayborn's body crumbles to dust as her soul returns to it once more, and you live... You know what? No. Begin to swap souls is fine. The rest of it, I feel like we can do better. Stay on topic. You hear a loud, horrible scream. You're pretty sure it's Lynn's. Everything shakes, and you feel pain unlike anything you've ever experienced. It lasts forever and only a second. At the end of it all, you open your eyes and look down at your hands in confusion. It worked. You have switched bodies and souls, but not heads. It's pretty confusing, and it's best not to think about it. The important thing is that Darth Revan is dead. There's only one problem left. The Wizard War is happening while you two are fucking around. It's happening right now, and you're the only ones who can stop it. The prophecy... We'll just go with that. You could take advantage of the moment. You're the last one left to command the armies. You can unite them. What could you accomplish? What could you dream? What could you do with an entire kingdom at your feet and no one else to share in the glory? Are you going to ask rhetorical questions all day? Lynn says. You say and then sniff. We need to fix this. I agree, she says. Your plan is to let one person control the body for a while the other stays dormant. This way you can do everything you'd want to do. It should work. You and Lynn swap heads when needed and go to find the war grounds. The battle is raging in an unexpected location. The town you and your army passed a few days from when the... Gonna try it a few times. It's trying to be too serious. I need it to lighten up. In an unexpected location, the perfume aisle of Macy's department store. Yes, you read that correctly. Apparently, one faction of war wizards set a group of wizards to creating a giant-sized bottle of Charlie perfume. They were planning to drop it on the org headquarters in an attempt to drown out the smell of all the corpses. But another faction got wind of the plan and sabotaged it by cutting the brake lines, causing a traffic jam and bringing the delivery vans to a dead stop, right in the path of the oncoming enemy march. Of course, their plan was to obstruct the other faction. They messed it up and hit the opposing army instead. At the end of the day, now wizards are everywhere in Macy's, casting wild spells with reckless abandon and transforming shoppers into butterflies. You never thought you'd see the day when you consider getting into a firefight in a place like this. The retail apocalypse has finally come true. You wade through the chaos and find Emperor Ford. We have to stop this, you yell at him. I know, he says, lobbing a fireball at a passing wizard. I've tried, they just keep coming. Who are you? No, wait, why are you doing this? Someone shouts, and you turn around. It's Frank the strobe light wizard, or whatever he's supposed to be. Everything just sort of happened, you yell back, and throw a pile of buckets at him. He blocks it with a wall of air, and then, well, you duck just in time to miss his lightning blast. That would be a really good time for Lynn to show up. Instead of her, you get Bob the bartender. You blink, looking at Bob's severed head in your hands, and look around to see Lynn's head, Lynn's undead head, being punted around the floor willy-nilly. Great, a head fuckeriness battle in the middle of a Macy's makeup section. How oddly appropriate. You pull the fire alarm and tell everybody it's a fire drill and that there's no school today. You walk through the halls and head towards the exit, and you come across a group of girls performing some sort of ritual. You can't be sure what it is, but they've definitely got all the tools of a cult. You have an idea. The store has been mostly abandoned because everybody's in the fight. You ask the coven of girls to perform a seance and speak to the spirit of Darth Revan. They agree, not knowing that you're Darth Revan's son, let's say. With them helping you, you think you can end the war by talking all parties out of fighting. Wizards are predictable, and so are cultists. Neither of those statements is true. But you get Darth Revan on the line. Hello, dead father, you say to Darth Revan's ghost. We need your help. I'm not your father, meatbag. Oh? There's a long pause as the spirit world contact does whatever it does. No, you are not my son. You have his body, but I sense the presence of another in you. This is getting weird really fast. Can you end the war? Can you negotiate a peace? Peace, Shmees. This is the final battle. Follow me, we will wipe out the last remnants of light. Sounds good to me, you say. I was getting bored of this stalemate. So be it, your dad says. But when your ghost dad turns around, you cast Dead Man's Hand on him. It attempts to bring back his ghost from the dead. Since that's impossible, the results are hilarious. You laugh, as does Bob the bartender. Darth Revan has no idea what's going on, but he's panicking a whole lot more than usual. He even forgets to attack you. The attack succeeds, but you're hit back by a white light that had previously not been there. You pick up the flashlight. You pick up the lightsaber that is now possessed by the spirit of Darth Revan and wave it around. Hey, guys, you yell at everyone in the store. I have Darth Revan here. That's right, this lightsaber had a name and that never came back. I just completely forgot about it. There's a bit of laughing because only one single person takes you seriously. How'd you get that stupid sword to work? I found the on button. The argument erupts into, predictably, a fight. You realize that the easiest way to finish the war is to distract the wizards with nerd trivia. You tell them all that your lightsaber is double possessed. Some believe you, others don't. A fight breaks out. By this time, the staff have all left the store. You stop holding the door open for refugees from the battlefronts. Instead, you just wait in the middle of the empty produce section. Eventually, Frank comes over to you. We've agreed to a ceasefire, Frank says, providing you meet our terms. Go on, you say. All refugees have to be returned home. The roads are cleared, and every evil shithead has left good territory. You sigh and agree, and wonder if you'll ever get your own series. Probably not. And there's one more thing, he says ominously. The tone of his voice worries you a bit. What? What's it called when you're kicked out of school? I'm blanking on excommunicated. You're not evicted. Motherfucker. Kicked out of school. I can't believe I have to Google this. Expelled. Completely unsurprised, you return to the dorm and pack up, hoping that future endeavors will lead you to something else, because, man, you are getting sick of this series. Goodbye, Aunt. Goodbye, Sam, you say to your two best friends. No, Aunt says. Don't go. We'll come with you. Wherever you go, I'll go. You're touched by the offer, but this path is for you and you alone. No, I should go alone. You make your way out of the dorm, past every single student who stops and stares at you. After a moment of silence, they all spontaneously burst into applause. You sheepishly grin and wave as you walk out the door. Wow, looks like you're a celebrity, Captain Ian Sheely says. where the fuck that is. You jump in surprise when you see him. The man is, like, everywhere. You accompany Captain Ian Cheeley to the gates, where Emperor Headmaster Harrison Ford is waiting. Hello, Headmaster. Or I guess I should just call you Indy now, you say. He smiles. Just Ford is fine. All right then, Ford. Does this mean you've forgiven me for murdering your dad? His stern face returns. You used to be my responsibility. Now I need to take care of the entire world. You raise an eyebrow. We're enrolling literally every single human being into Quidneck next semester. It's the only way to be sure. Emperor Ford says. Sounds like a hell of an idea. Good luck with that, you say. Yeah, thanks for your help, kid. Thanks for not having me executed, you reply. Ford out. You part and see Frank walking up to you. He waves to Captain Ian Cheeley. You shake Frank's hand. I have to tell you something. You confess, I don't remember you at all. Frank laughs, waves his hand. That's fine. Anyway, the pizza place is hiring. I think you'd be great. It all looks the same to me. I want to settle down. None of this crazy running around, you shrug. I don't like chaos anymore. But there's something you want to take care of before you go. Do me a favor, you say to Frank, and hand him a broom. Hand him your broom. Throw this at Miss Tentacle until she's dead. What the hell happened? Frank says, staring at the broom. Never mind, just do it anyway. Frank looks at you in confusion as you walk off. You continue down the sidewalk and search for a house. You continue down the sidewalk. Captain Ian Cheeley takes off. Probably to track down whoever's behind this whole fiasco. You don't much care, though you suspect it might be Krevins. For once, you walk off into the sunset of a normal life. A pimped-out van screeches to a halt beside you. Stormtroopers Stanley and Oprah stick their head out the window. Get in, loser. We're going to the forest to find some WAPIs. You climb onto the van. Watching out for your head, a voice booms, Welcome aboard, Apathy Man. Hi, Beale. The end. Because what the fuck do you do from there? Top 10 forbidden spells of Quidneck University. Number 10. The Scornful Sybil. You summon a beautiful woman who shoots poisonous darts from her boobs. I think that's the most sexist thing you've ever read. Why can't she shoot them from her... ... The putrid possession. You possess a weak-minded individual to do your bidding. The university specifically states that you cannot use it to take over the bodies of hot girls. Wow, this is kind of going in a direction, huh? Hello, police. You think these breasts are explosives? Okay, sure. The police, probably. The venomous verbal vomitus. You get to throw up acid on your enemies. Yay! If you're me. If you're the caped chemical warrior, however, it gets thrown right back at you and you melt. I'd like to see that. You proceed to vomit on your loved ones. That'll teach them to get in your way. The invincible ignorance. Above all else, you must remain the smartest. This spell ensures that knowledge can't harm you. The most dangerous thing to you becomes your friend's stupid jokes. You laugh, and it tears your throat apart. Good one, Captain Explosionade. Hey, why does his head look like that? The Hydra Heads. Due to the nature of study for medicine, you'll spend most of your life dealing with body parts. Your cadaver will never shut up. Speaking various languages, your hand will insult every foreign exchange student who enters your operation theater. Your patient's foot will do a little dance whenever your professor says, "Excuse me." The Wildfire Whimperts. You call upon cute, flammable, whimpering creatures to zap your enemies to death with their cuteness. Your friends ignore their weeping and tell you to shut up. Your girlfriend will break up with you because of that one time when you went camping. That was no wildfire. The Wasted Wish. What's the point of having a teacher with ungranted wishes if you can finally have one? I wish all readers good luck in their exams. You'll need it. Also, your essays might suck now. Give them an A for effort. The Exploding Eggs. Here's a funny coincidence. This spell is exactly like that of an exploding cow egg. Very explosive, very dangerous, best handled by professionals. Congratulations! You are now an official professional egg handler. The Green Chains. This spell covers the victim in chains that restrict all movements. Not including movement of the eyes, the victim can only rotate his head slightly and speak. You try it on your professor, but hit yourself instead. You're okay with the professor's whimpering face being the last thing you see, though you wish it set up. And I'm going to just do this real quick. The number one forbidden spell, the Decimating Doritos. Come on. You bring back those tortilla chips you used to love. They explode into a million grains, coating everything in a Dorito flavor. Unfortunately, some of those grains find their way up your nose. You choke to death while your friends snicker. You can even hear your assignment overseer laughing in the next room. The moral of the story: all these spells are hilarious if you use them on someone else. Thank you for tuning in. Good night, and have some sick guitar riffs, apparently. My mistake.